Good afternoon, friends. It's Lisa, and today we are going to be doing a really exciting art project inspired by Denise Every and her paintings. So we are going to be doing a watercolor and drawing called Stackable Cats, which is a lot of fun. So let's make sure you have what you need to get started today, and then we'll get ready to go. First thing I have is something to cover up my table so that I don't make a mess and it's really easy to clean up. I've got a 9x12 piece of watercolor paper in front of me. It's just a nice thick paper that's going to hold all that moisture from the water. I've got a couple brushes that I'm going to use today. I've got a square brush and a little round brush. Any kind of brush that you have for painting is going to be great for this. I've got a paper towel to absorb some of the water in case it gets a little bit messy. I've got a pencil. I like to use a mechanical pencil because these white erasers on the back end erase really clean. But don't panic if all you have is a regular number 2 pencil that you use. That will work really great too. I've got a watercolor set, which is basic colors. You don't need anything fancy for this. And then I've got a tray with some water in it for rinsing my brushes and for getting some clean water when I need it. All right, so check your materials, make sure that you have everything that you need to get started, and off we go. Great, so now that you've got everything you need, let's get starting with our stackable cats. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw out our pattern for our watercolors. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stackable cats that we're going to do. We're going to be drawing our cats going up the center of our paper, and the top part, or the head of our cats, doesn't really change too much as far as the width of how wide the head of our cats are. So we're going to start with this little tiny baby at the bottom. I'm going to find the center of my paper, and down towards the bottom of my paper I'm going to start with just a little bit of a curved line. So I've got a little bit of a curved line going right up towards the center of my paper. Then I'm going to draw 2 triangles on either side of that curved line. The point of my triangle is going to go off towards the corners of my paper. So I'm going to turn my paper just a little bit to help me with that. So I've got 2 triangles. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a curved line that goes all the way down to the bottom of the paper, and this is going to be the side of my cat. All right, perfect. So I've got that curved line in the center, 2 triangles with the ears kind of pointing off towards the corners, and then 2 side marks. So as you're drawing, you don't want to press down too hard. So if you want to redo a line, you can erase it and the line comes off really clean. So right above this curved line, I'm going to go up just a little bit higher, and I'm going to draw another curved line right on top, and this is going to be for my second stackable cat. I'm going to draw 2 ears with the corner of my ears pointing off toward the corner of my paper. So I can do a sharp corner on my triangle, or I can do a little bit of a gentle curved line. So I'm going to give this cat a little bit softer ears. And then the same idea, we're going to do 2 curved lines coming all the way down to the bottom of the paper on either side. 1 and 2. So now I've got 2 cats. I've got one in the front and a second cat. I'm going to work on my third cat next. So coming straight up the center, I'm going to do a third arched line for the top of my cat's head. I'm going to do 2 triangles with the ears pointing off to the corners. And you can make your ears as big or as small as you want to. And then I'm going to make these lines arch down to the bottom of the paper. Make this cat a little bit bigger. So now we have 1, 2, 3 stackable cats. When we get back to the 4th cat, this is where we get to have a little bit of fun and our design changes a little bit. We're still going to do the arched line on the top. I'm going to make 2 triangle ears pointing off to the corners. But instead of the body coming all the way down and off to the sides, I'm going to have the body come off to the edges of the paper. So instead of coming all the way down towards where you're sitting, you're going to have it come off to the sides. I'm going to come off towards the edge of the paper. So my cats look like they're going from very small in the front to bigger and bigger and bigger. So now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you've run out of room and you can only fit 4 stackable cats on your paper, that's okay. But if we can, let's see if we can squeeze 1 more cat all the way towards the top. I'm going to do a curved line and try to fit some ears in here. And again, this cat is going to come off the edges instead of coming straight down. Ooh, I love the shape of that cat. So I've got 5 cats. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Great job. So if you need to, the great thing about having this on video is you can press pause and go ahead and finish drawing all of your cats, and then when you're ready, go ahead and press the play button, and then we can go on to the next step together. So I'm going to show you how to do some cute expressions for our kitty cats. Down in the front, I've got this cat going, "Ooh, what's going on behind me?" I've got a peaceful kitty, sleepy kitty, a very alert and awake happy kitty, and then the cat all the way up at the top looking down going, "Hey everybody, what's going on down there?" So I'm going to show you how to do all of these really cute expressions and maybe add a little bit more detail to your cats. So I'm going to show you how to do this kitty cat in the front. For his eye, I'm going to do an upside down eye, which is in the shape of a U, which kind of makes him look like he's winking. So I'm going to draw the letter U on one side, which gives him that kind of wink. On the other side, I'm going to draw the letter O, and then up towards the top, I'm going to draw a smaller circle, and then I'm going to color that in so it makes him look like he's looking all the way up towards the top of the line. For his kitty cat nose, I'm going to draw a circle between the eyes, a little bit lower, and I'm going to color that in. And instead of doing that traditional kitty cat with the U shape at the bottom, I'm just going to draw one straight line coming down. I'm going to draw 3 whiskers on either side, and I'm going to make these straight whiskers, which kind of gives them that personality like, "Hey guys, what's going on up there?" If you'd like to, you can give him some stripes. So I gave him a couple triangles towards the top of his head. So he looks like he has some stripes. And then I also gave him smaller triangles inside of his ears just to add a little bit of personality. So for Happy Kitty, I'm going to do 2 upside down U's, are the shapes that make if you were drawing a rainbow. So I'm going to do 2 curved lines next to each other, and that's it for the eyes. I'm going to draw the circle for the nose. I'm going to color that in. A nice cute circle. I'm going to draw 2 hooks or something that looks like an anchor for his kitty mouth. And then I'm going to do 2 little curved lines at the little tip because he looks so happy. I'm going to give him some cute whiskers coming off to the side. So down here, the kitty in the front, his whiskers are very straight. Happy Kitty, I might curve his whiskers a little bit if you like that. And then on the inside of the ears, I'm going to make an upside down U just to give him a little bit of personality because he's happy. Oh, Sleepy Kitty's in the background, making me very tired. So Sleepy Kitty, we're going to do 2 upside down U's, but we're going to make those U's very long. We're going to draw some lines for some eyelashes. For the nose on our Sleepy Kitty cat, I drew a shape of a heart and colored it in. And did the little nose for the cat. Gave Sleepy Kitty some whiskers. And you can choose whether you want to do a triangle for the ear or the upside down U. So I'm going to go ahead and do some triangles. And then for Sleepy Kitty, if you want to do lines, but for Sleepy Kitty, I think I'm just going to do a couple spots on the head. So we have our cat up in front, we have our Happy Kitty, we have our Sleepy Kitty, and then we have our 4th kitty cat, which just is really alert. He's super cool. He wants to take in everything that's going on. So I'm going to give him some big eyes. I'm going to draw 2 circles, 1, 2, and then I'm going to put a smaller circle and color it in right in the very center. I've been doing round noses, so for this cat I'm going to do an upside down triangle, with the 2 lines coming out. I might give him some round cheeks, give him a little personality, give him some whiskers. I might curve those whiskers a little bit, and then maybe a nice U for the ears. And then finally, way up top, our top cat's looking down at everybody because he is so high. So I'm going to make an oval for 2 eyes way up top. I'm going to put a small circle way down at the bottom of each eye to give him the expression that he's looking down. I'm going to give him a nice oval nose, a nice little round nose. So it's a round nose, but it's squished. This guy, I'm just going to give him some super short whiskers. And just one line for the ear. And there you have it. You have your Stackable Cats. So here's another great place if you want to press pause on the video so you can look at all the different expressions and take your time drawing those in. And then when you're ready, you can press play and we can get ready to paint. Wonderful. So let's start painting our cats. This is my favorite part, is putting all this wonderful color on. I'm going to pick up a brush. I'm going to choose this larger of the two brushes. I'm going to save this one for maybe details if I want to do that later. I'm just going to barely take my brush and dip it into the clean water. I'm not going to worry so much if my water gets a little bit of color in it and gets sturdy, because it'll be just fine. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to tap it onto my watercolor tray, picking up just a little bit more water. So I don't want to soak my tray with color. I don't want to give it a bath. I'm just going to put a little bit of color at the end of my brush. I'm going to come over to my first cat and I'm just going to move my brush back and forth and add a little bit of color right to my cat. So you want to be really, really careful that you don't come in and really soak your brush. Get it super, super wet. Have it dripping wet with water. Get drops of water all over your painting. Come over to your watercolor tray. Start gouging out the paint and then having sloshes of paint all over your painting. Because what will happen is your paper will start to tear and it will start to shred. And then you'll have way too much water on your painting. So I'm going to tap a little bit of water off onto my towel. I want to get just a little bit of water on the end of my brush, just a little bit. I'm going to tap it into the watercolor that's on my tray, and then I can come and paint my kitty cat. I'm going to go around his eye, because I think this time I'm going to keep their eyes white. In the first painting that I did, I painted over the eyes, but I think in this one I'm going to try to keep the open eyes white. So just a tiny bit of color when you're doing watercolor will travel a long way on your paper. I'm going to tap it into the water again because my brush is getting dry, and then back onto my paper. If I start to hear my brush scratching on my paper, then I know that I'm out of water, so I can go back and dunk it into my tray and grab a little bit more water. So I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to take the bottom of my brush to the bottom of my container, and I'm just going to give it a really gentle little scrub on the bottom, and it'll take all that extra paint out. I'm going to tap it on my towel, and then I have a nice clean brush to use. I'm going to move on to my next cat, which is my happy cat, and I'm going to paint it orange. Now, do you have to go in the same color order? Absolutely not. You can use your own creativity. So I'm going to find orange. I put a little bit of water on my brush. I'm coming into my colors. And just a little bit of water goes a long way. So I'm barely touching my brush into the water and then back into the paint. And the paint will let me know when I need to get more water. It starts to feel kind of sticky. So just take your time, don't go fast. So I don't know how many of you guys have cats, but one day we heard these little tiny meows coming from underneath the dumpster at my work. And well, we thought it was underneath the dumpster, but it was actually inside. And we found a little tiny fluffy black and white baby kitten. So we got the baby kitten and took it home, and his name is Tommy Cat. And we have had Tommy Cat for about 5 years, and he is the best cat ever. So snuggly, so kind. We just love Tommy Cat. So I'm taking my brush, I'm rinsing it out. I'm gonna tap it on the towel to make sure that the water is gone from it, make sure there isn't any orange left in my brush. I'm going to move on to my next color, which is going to be this really pretty red color. I'm going to grab a little bit of water and some red. So basically it's the same steps over and over again, making sure that you use a little bit of water, tapping it in your paint tray, and then going on to your next color. Just being very, 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 very careful. So we had Tommy for about 2 years. And then one day, we live out in the country. One day I was working in my garden and I was thinking to myself, what in the world does Tommy have in his mouth? And I looked over and he had found a baby kitten, and he had brought home a baby kitten. And I thought, well, my goodness, Tommy. Now you are a stray cat that we brought home, rescuing other cats. So I said, well, I guess we'll keep the stray cat. And then he brought home 2 more stray cats. So long story short, we have 4 cats, but we live out in the country, so it's actually a pretty good thing. So we have Rosie, who is a black cat. Then we have Tiger, who is a brown and black striped cat. And then we have Mrs. Bigsby, who is another brown and black striped cat. And Mrs. Bigsby, we call her Mrs. Bigsby because every time we talk to her, like our cell phone, Mrs. Bigsby, she starts to sing. So that's pretty cool. And then of course, the one and only Tommy. So that's the story of my cats. And then one day I will tell you the story of my dogs, because we do have dogs. I'm going to turn my paper just a little bit so it's a little bit easier to paint. Coming up over the cute little kitty head. that I really like about watercolors is when you put different amounts of paint on, like if I put a little bit more paint here and a little bit less paint here, it dries that way. So it has a lot of different shades of colors. I think it is so cool. Oh, and speaking of Tommy, there he goes right by my front window. Oh, so Sleepy Kitty is done. I'm going to rinse that red out of my brush. I'm just going to push it to the bottom of the water tray and give it a little scrub. I want to be careful not to splash the water out of the tray because I don't want to get it on my painting. I also don't want to get it on anybody who may be sitting next to me. I'm going to tap it off on my towel. Perfect. And then just looking to see if there's any color left on the brush, which there isn't. All right, so now I'm going to move to blue. I'm taking just a little bit of color. Blue is a great color. We've got a primary color now. So if I asked what the primary colors were, would you be able to tell me? Ready, set, go. Very good. Those colors are blue, red, and yellow. Right, I'm going to turn this guy just a little bit so I can get to him better. I'm going to try to go around his eyes. Oh, you're looking so cute. All right, and our cat up on the top, I'm gonna paint him purple. So just remember, if you need more time, or if I'm going too slow because I'm telling too many stories, you can pause the video or you can fast forward through the video. And again, remember, if you're trying to paint a cat two different colors, then you have to let that first color dry, or your colors are going to mix together on the paper because everything is wet, and you're going to end up maybe with something that you didn't quite imagine how it would turn out. Oh, so cute. I'm going to turn my picture upside down so I can get the last part without having to run my hand across my painting. I'm going to rinse my brush again, tap it off on my towel, get some water, and start with that really pretty green. There are so many beautiful colors that a lot of people ask, what is your favorite color, Miss Lisa? But my problem is I always change what my favorite color is. So I'll be like, oh, blue is my favorite color. And then I'll start painting with green, and then I'll think, oh my gosh, green is such a beautiful color. I think maybe green is my favorite color. And then I'll think, oh, I forgot about purple. Maybe purple is my favorite color. I'm so indecisive when it comes to color. I just love painting with color, period. Just makes me really happy. I always tell my kids, if you had a rough day, all you have to do is get out some paint and start painting or start coloring. And it always will just brighten you up and make you feel better. Ta-da! There we have it, Stackable Cats. So what's really great about this is when your paint has dried, if you'd like to and you have time, you can always come back and you can put a second coat of paint, but you really want to make sure that your paper has dried. If your paper gets too wet, then it's going to start to peel and it's going to start to crinkle a lot. So if I ever want to put a little bit of extra color on my cats, to make them look like they have spots, I'll come and give them a second coat, but only after the first coat is dried. So that's kind of like a little hidden technique that I can show you. So if I want my orange cat to look like it has a couple darker spots, I'll use the same color and come back and give it a second layer of paint. just to give it some areas that are a little bit darker. So maybe he's got a round patch around his eye. So that's always something that's kind of fun to do if you've got time. I kind of like this idea that each cat has its own unique color. But that's what's so fun about being artistic and creative, is everybody has such unique imaginations. My purple cat in the back seems to be pretty dry, so my purple cat, I might come through, let's see, maybe with a smaller brush and give him some stripes. So maybe I'll make him a little bit more like my tiger cat with the stripes. So same color, just a little bit of personality in his fur. So there are just some fun things to do if you have some extra time. My red cat, I left some spots up at the top of my happy cat's head, so I think I'll fill in and make those spots a little bit darker. Maybe the inside of the ears. And the yellow cat, maybe I will give my yellow cat a few stripes. By adding another coat of yellow. And there we go. So I'm going to rinse those brushes out, set them on my towel. I just like my blue cat. I think he's really cute. I think I'm going to give him some dark little chickies. And some darker ears. Right, nice job everybody. So today we learned how to draw some stackable cats, give them some different faces for some personalities, and then play around with watercolor a little bit. So start off with a little bit of a dry brush, not too much water. Don't oversaturate or put too much water in your watercolor pans. And as soon as you kind of hear your water brush scratching on your paper, then you can go back and grab a little bit of water. So a little bit of water and a little bit of paint goes a long way. Then you can come back with a second coat of paint and add some really fun details to your cat. And then that second layer really stands out and makes your cats look amazing. So congratulations again on a wonderful project. And I hope you had as much fun painting as I did this afternoon, and we'll see you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye everyone.